Hello, welcome to another episode of Focus on Tomorrow. I am your host, Jameer Rice. Focus on Tomorrow is a nonprofit organization located in Chicago, Illinois. You can find us on the web at www.focus-on-tomorrow.org, or you can email us at info@focus-on-tomorrow.org. If you have any questions or comments throughout the show, you can call us at 312-738-1060. So I'm here with the executive director, Mark Rodriguez, for Changing Worlds. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Had a blessed day today. Anyway, so what is Changing Worlds' mission?
So our mission is to foster inclusive communities through oral history, writing, and art programs that improve student learning, affirm identity, and enhance cross-cultural understanding. So you might say, well, what does that really mean? What does the mission look like in action? So for us, what that really means is really using the power of arts and individuals' personal stories to help people affirm their own identity, especially young people, help them learn about other cultures, and improve their arts and academic learning skills.
So when was the organization? Do you know when the organization was first created? Like when it was first created.
Sure, the organization was originally started as a project in 1996
Okay.
and became a nonprofit in roughly around the end of December of 99, so between 99 and 2000.
That's good. So tell me a little bit about the community that you serve.
Sure. Our programs and services service the communities of Chicago, varied communities in Chicago. We work with roughly around 22 neighborhoods. We also service suburban communities like Evanston, Carroll Stream, Waukegan. In Chicago, our programs are predominantly centered around the neighborhoods of Inglewood, Pilsen, North Lawndale, Austin, Little Village, and they kind of spread out from there. So we have a large footprint in the Chicago area where we service and work in collaboration with various schools and community-based organizations. And then we also service various suburban schools and community partners as well.
So how do you go about teaching a cultural curriculum to different schools that are diverse in culture? So how would you go about teaching that to them?
So for us, our programs are really centered around helping the participant begin by learning about themselves, their own heritage, their own identity, their own culture, and using that as a springboard to help them learn about others and other cultures. So in our programs, you'll see young people really focused on one, either interviewing family members, interviewing community members, focused around a particular theme, such as heroes or on the shoulders of our ancestors or movements, and they focus on those themes and really begin by learning about their own culture and identity first, and then using that as a vehicle to help them learn about others. We believe that before you can learn about and appreciate other people from other backgrounds and cultures, you have to learn about yourself first.
Okay, so doing a cultural aspect. So so you said you basically implement teaching kids different heroes for different cultures and whatnot. So do you teach kids mainstream heroes? I'm just gonna throw one out there, Martin Luther King Jr. Or do you teach them about other heroes that people might not even know about?
We do a combination. It really depends. Our programs that we deliver as an organization fall in 3 to 4 areas. We do in-school partnership programs with schools where we bring in a teaching artist with a literacy specialist to work in the classroom with a set of teachers to develop curriculum that's more culturally relevant and that integrates the arts as well as peace and nonviolence. So that's kind of doing our in-school programs. And after school, we have teaching artists that work alongside actually work alongside the young people to deliver programs directly. They could be in the areas of dance, drama, or visual arts. And then we also do teacher professional development and teaching artist professional development, and then broader community engagement programs. That said, the heroes in the curriculum where we might be focusing on heroes, we would do a combination of them learning about more mainstream heroes like Dr. King or Gandhi or Cesar Chavez or individuals like that, while also learning about local heroes, heroes in their community, heroes in their family, people that they look up to.
So just to backtrack for a second, what inspired? So what I could say inspired you to want to work for changing worlds? Like, can you give us like a little bit of background of yourself?
Sure. So I've been at Changing Worlds since 2003 as the organization's first director. I was inspired to come to Changing Worlds because of its mission, its focus on promoting culture and cultural awareness, and incorporating the arts into curriculum. Prior to my work at Changing Worlds, I've been working in the nonprofit sector for just under 15 to 20 years, probably around there. I'm not going to age myself. And I have a background in communications and marketing, as well as in nonprofit management, education, and literacy development.
So, why is it important for youth to learn about identity and culture?
We believe that for you to be able to be a successful citizen in life and to be able to be a contributing member for our society, it helps for you to begin to learn and know about yourself, to affirm your identity, to help focus on building your self-worth, your self-esteem, and the foundational elements, your sense of self, your sense of belonging, your sense of usefulness, your sense of influence. Those foundational traits and values that you learn in character education values help give you the foundation you need to be successful in school and in life and on when you go on into college, for you to feel like you have the confidence to be able to do what you put your mind to, for you to feel like comfortable with who you are and who you are as an individual, and to know who you are and what your heritage and background is and what foundation you come from, whose shoulders do you come from, not only your parents but also people that your ancestors beyond that. And it's helpful to know your history, to know where you're going in the future.
So, would you say just from like a careful view of the young generation today, would you say that they lack a sense of their history or like a sense of their culture and whatnot? Do you think that that part of them part of us? Well, guess what I'm trying to say. Do you feel that society as a young generation that's coming up now, do you feel that they lack a sense of identity and culture?
I actually feel that the adults uh, lack the sense of sharing the identity and culture with the young people. Young people aren't at fault. It's the adults in their lives that really need to help continue that legacy, to continue to share their story, to continue to tell their children, their grandchildren, their neighbors' children about their history, their movements, the things they were involved in, what struggles that we've undergone as a people, what have we succumbed to. So that it's really, from my perspective, less about what the young people don't know and more about what we as adults have to do to support our young people.
Wow, that's the first time someone actually ever said that. And the only reason why I asked the question is because like kids, even kids at my school, like when we have talks about the different history aspects of everything, you have kids in my school that would say that it's actually the kids' fault for not wanting to be able to research where they came from, or like the past, or like what brought the generation to where we are today and to right now, which I somewhat agree to, but in the same time I don't, because how you gonna know what to research anything if you don't know what you're looking for?
Yeah, I think we don't blame children at our agency, and it's children, young adults, teens, all of the above. It's really what we as adults have to do to support and guide them. And that's what we believe in, and that's what we kind of emphasize through our work with teachers and teaching artists, through training we provide them. It's our commitment to working to lift up the youth, not blaming the youth.
Right, because in my opinion, I feel like if the young generation today knows more about what their self worth and everything, and where they come from, I feel like, in my opinion, that we will be better off as far as educational wise, and the success rates of being able to get a good job, and to be able to give back to our community, because basically our community, a strong community and a strong sense of history and identity, I feel is will get you to be able to move forward in a positive direction, and there wouldn't be any negative aspects. So
I agree. I think we learn a lot from our history. We won't repeat some of the same
right,
mistakes,
mistakes, yes.
right? If we've learned from them, and together we can propel ourselves forward. But if we're not learning from our history, then we're just repeating the same cycle.
Right. So since the program has begun, have you noticed um any change in academic performance that for the students that you teach or serve?
Yeah. So we do regular assessments of our work on both short and long term. In 2012, we completed a 3-year study following the same group of kids for 3 consecutive years to look at their growth in academics, specifically in literacy and arts learning, sense of self, and sense and understanding of culture. We worked in collaboration with Loyola University and the Center for Urban Research and Learning at Loyola to be able to measure and look at on a longitudinal basis what are children in Changing Worlds programs getting and how are they excelling academically, etc. And when we did a comparison between students in our program and students within the same school that were not in our program, our students surpassed those students on every indicator area, including test scores, by just under 12% points. So really
Wow.
showing that programming and curriculum that allows students to be able to see themselves in what they're learning, to feel a connection to what you're learning, because that's what connection to culture really helps you do,
Right.
to be able to express yourself both in writing and or through the arts, and to have an outlet for you to express yourself makes you more engaged and connected to the content that you're learning. So for that purpose, it really helps to reaffirm and demonstrate that programs like ours that use these culturally responsive pedagogy or curriculum or teaching practices with the arts really help to elevate and lift the student, engage the student, and help them excel academically.
So does your program only target kids, or do you aim to pull in like other age groups?
So we work with grades K and up. Predominantly, we work in K through 8. We do have a number of high school programs, predominantly after school programs.
Mm-hmm.
We've done in school, and then we do programs for adults. So it's really all ages, but our primary or our sweet spot, I would say, is really kind of middle school and up. But we work with all ages, and it's really about the need, once again, to, even as adults, we need to learn about who we are, where we came from, and learn how to respect and appreciate others from that are different than us. And it could be ethnically or culturally, but it could be other differences as well.
So in a way you're basically aiming to start with the young kids to get them more developed to a better understanding of society, so that when they do grow up they can make better decisions in a way.
Yeah, and the way we do a little bit of that, we really kind of work to be proactive and reach young people so that can help. We also work on in our in-school programs, training teachers in schools to be able to continue this work year after year, even when we're not in the classroom with them, so that they serve as a change agent in the classroom, really focusing on helping to make changes in their curriculum and how they teach and how they work and interface with young people.
So the in-school program utilizes student life source to teach core values. So can you give us some examples of how that might work? How would that work?
Sure.
How does it work?
So I'll give you kind of an example. At one school in the Austin community, we're focusing on a theme called On the Shoulders of Our Ancestors, where young people are really exploring different thematic focus. They're looking at different movements that them or their families may have been a part of, or someone in their family may have been a part of. They're looking at laws and the ways in which they might connect to help address some of the injustices, so they're exploring social justice related issues. And then once they identify those issues, they're also drawing connections to themselves and how they look at and how they would respond to an injustice or something that they might see in their community, and what's their role as an individual when they see something that's not appropriate as well. So they at that particular site, they also did a kind of research on Emmett Till and what transpired in that situation and interviewed his cousin in the classroom.
Mm.
Really learning, they wrote letters to Emmett Till, and then they moved forward beyond that, talk about what are some of the movements and what are some other injustices that happen in our society, and what can we do as change agents in our community, in our lives, in the city at large, to help ensure that things like that don't ever happen again.
So, so you talk about injustices. Did you teach them about not necessarily? Well, yeah, teach. Did you teach them about like the injustices that's going on now with the Baltimore riots, of Freddie Gray, or with the Trayvon Martin? Did did y'all go over concepts of that nature?
Sure. I mean, that's one of the unique aspects of our work is that it brings in the student voice. So it really helps to bring in issues that are relevant, that are connected to the students. So looking at the Emmett Till situation, looking at different movements, looking at what's going on in today for the young people. Of course, issues like what's going on in Baltimore have come up, or Trayvon Martin, and then we begin to explore what rights do we have as individuals? How do we address that? How do we become proactive? How do we work to ensure that we're not using violence to resort to as a unreliable solution, which isn't going to really work to address the larger injustices? And what can we do? So it really helps them begin to have a dialogue about those issues, begin to think about what other alternative solutions might be to positively respond to those, and to develop ways to address them if something might come up in their community, in their classroom, or in their school.
So can you tell us about the traveling exhibits that and how someone can use them at the institution?
Sure. So we have a number of traveling exhibits that connect back to our work initially in as an organization that started in 1996 to 2000. We captured a number of stories from individuals that were part of our program at Hibbert Elementary School. And we captured 3 generational stories. Those stories are about for many of them, being foreign-born individuals, about their fears of coming here, their dreams for the future, their hopes. And really, that became an entree to talk about different cultural values. So those exhibits really help individuals learn about people from different backgrounds, from different experiences, and what similarities they might have. Traveling exhibits are available to be for rental by contacting Changing Worlds at changingworlds.org, or by calling our office at 312-421-8040. Individuals can rent them, keep them on display at their school for a month at a time. They were just most recently at Children's Memorial Hospital, or the Lurie Children's Center, I should say, and really used there to help kids learn about different cultures. So it's really about using those stories and etc.
So can you give an example of like what cultures were on display, on display at the traveling exhibits?
Sure. So we have families who come from places like Poland, Mexico, Nicaragua, Iran, Pakistan, Cambodia, and varied from all around the world, really allowing people to draw connections to people from different backgrounds themselves. We had a family from Somalia as well. So families from very different backgrounds that really help individuals learn more about them, learn more about their journey, and learn more about their story and how their story might relate to their own story.
So do you think it's important for schools to teach to basically make ethnic studies as a permanent part of education?
I think it's important for schools to implement or use culturally relevant and responsive teaching practices in the classroom, so that bring in student voice, that bring in student identity into the classroom, so that young people can see a little bit of themselves in what they're learning, have a connection to the curriculum. And I think it should be in every classroom. It should be an opportunity for students to look beyond what's in their own community. We call it, what I call it, a windows and mirrors theory, really a mirror of themselves and a window to the larger world. So I think that allows you to see that there is a world outside of your neighborhood
Right.
or your 5 or 10 block radius that you might commute within on a regular basis, and that there's other people that are different and sometimes like you in other places around the world. And different doesn't mean bad; it just means different.
So I have a so do you have you ever thought about taking the kids or the people that you teach to say like say for example took them to China or Japan to give them like a more hands-on experience for different cultures and how they can use their culture to help benefit them or to help them progress throughout life.
I mean, it's something that we haven't done. It doesn't mean that it's never not possible. Much of our work is focused on changing kind of, or trying to drive changes in education and how teachers teach and how children connect with the curriculum, both in terms of culture, but also in terms of arts and arts learning. So we haven't done that yet.
Right.
We have talked about exploring it as an option generally to do as an organization for the general public, but we're embarking on a new strategic planning process this year, which will help outline future goals and ambitions and dreams for us as an organization, where something like that could be something we talk about. So it's a great idea and suggestion.
Could you please expound on the new planning process that you had just mentioned?
Sure.
What does it entail for for future students that will come through your program?
Well, the planning process that I just mentioned is really kind of an organizational planning process.
Right.
Doesn't involve much of the students, really, but it's really about, as an organization, us looking at where are we at as an organization with the goals that we intended to or set out to accomplish, and what should the next 3 to 5 year goals be for us as an organization? What should our impact be? What should our reach be? What new programs, if any, should we develop? So perhaps taking teens or young adults out to another country might be one of those ideas that percolates. So it's really kind of an organizational planning effort.
So can you tell us a little bit about your annual fundraiser, which is actually on May 14th?
Sure. Annual fundraiser is Thursday, May 14th, next week. And it will be held at Germania Place. It will be from 5:30 to roughly 9 o'clock. There will be a small reception from 5:30 to 6:30 that would have cocktails, appetizers, silent auction, student art exhibition. And then we'll be honoring Sharon Hidalgo, who's a board member of ours and also works for Xerox Corporation, and Mario Rosero, who is the Chief Core Curriculum Officer at Chicago Public Schools. And we'll be honoring them as well as highlighting the work of our young people.
So the professional development program for teachers influences the curriculum for all classrooms. What kind of response or feedback did you get from the teachers who were in the program?
I think the teachers that partake in our program are involved in any professional development or in school or teacher kind of coaching and support programs really help. The response has been very positive. It's really has helped teachers learn more about their own practice as well as help them develop deeper connections with their students.
So how could our viewers find out more about Changing Worlds?
Sure. To find out more about Changing Worlds, you can go to www.changingworlds.org, or you can also call 312-421-8040.
Okay. So we have 1 minute left on the show. Is any questions or comments that you want to have for the viewers?
If you'd like to learn more, we welcome volunteers and supporters. We service lots of schools and communities across the Chicagoland area. We have the upcoming gala. We have a student art exhibition that will be held at Instituto Cervantes on June 30th with the opening reception. And then this summer on August 9th, we have a arts and food truck festival called the Create Fest that's going to be held at the Bridgeport Arts Center on 35th Street in Racine. So lots of ways to get involved, lots of ways to connect.
So we would like to thank our guest, Mark Rodriguez, for coming onto the show. Focus on Tomorrow again is a nonprofit organization located in Chicago, Illinois. You can find us on the web at www.focus-on-small.org, or you can email us at info@focus-on-tomorrow.org. This is your host, Jamil Rice, and we hope to see you again for another episode next Tuesday. Thank you. Have a great day.